Legit, like for real, people is always asking me like, how did you get on the reel, how did you get on, you know, these shows, like how did you even get in the door or whatever, how did you get your foot in the door? So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how I got my foot in the door. What up? So y'all know I'm looking a little crazy, okay? But this is a get ready with me video, so I ain't gonna lie, I was legit finna cap low-key. Like I was finna do my hair and put my lashes on and then get on here and then do the rest of the get ready with me. And then I was like, nah, I ain't even gonna cap with them like that. Like I'm just finna show up exactly how I look when I wake up in the morning. So yes, I just took my bonnet off. My hair is looking a little crazy. I did a twist out, but my curls kind of fell. So I'm gonna fix that. And my nails is too burnt out. So I'm gonna take these off, put some new little press-ons on. So yeah, let's just get into it. So I'm just gonna start with these lashes from Ardell. If you're new here, I do my own lashes, own hair, own makeup, own nails. I do all of that myself because number one, I'm cheap. And I'd rather spend my money on clothes. And number two, I know how I like stuff to look, and sometimes people just don't be doing it right. So yeah, anyways, I want to talk about how I got into the fashion and TV industry today. This is a conversation that I feel like is long overdue because people, and you know how people be on YouTube be like, people are always asking me, or everybody's always asking me. Like no, legit, like for real, people is always asking me like, how did you get on the reel, how did you get on, you know, these shows, like how did you even get in the door or whatever, how did you get your foot in the door? So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how I got my foot in the door, and I want to talk about just what that process and what that journey actually looks like from somebody that worked it and did it. And we gonna have a real conversation about it too. So before I put my lashes on, I do a little bit of powder just to like absorb any moisture. First things first, before I moved to Cali, I'm originally from Detroit / Romulus. I grew up pretty much in both places. Romulus is like a little small town right outside of Detroit. I was kind of doing my thing in Detroit. That's where I started my clothing line. That's where I realized like, oh shoot, I love fashion, and I started like really diving into that world when I was in Detroit. So when I was there, I actually would watch this show. I would watch Loreal. I fell in love with it because it was just like all my favorites growing up that I used to watch growing up, they was on a show together. And I was doing fashion stuff, but I was just doing my own clothing line, boss mentality. So eventually I booked a trip to actually go to LA. And I don't know what made me do it, but I looked up what I needed to do to be in the audience at the Reel. I had watched the show so much to the point where like I knew what to wear. I just had it all like calculated. And when I was sitting in the audience, y'all, like no lie, I was just like, I had this feeling like I was just like, I should be backstage. Like I should be working backstage. Like I don't know what it was, but I just had this feeling, and this just like in my spirit that I should be backstage working. And I didn't know where that came from. Obviously I didn't know how I was gonna get backstage. I just had the feeling. That's all I knew. Fast forward, I'm back in Detroit watching the Reel, and they do this segment on where the hosts of the show are interviewing their stylists. And I'm just watching all of them. I watched Adrienne interview her stylist. I watched Lonnie interview her stylist. I don't think Tamar was there at the time. But then I was watching Jeannie interview her stylist. And she was from Detroit. She's like, yeah, I'm from Detroit and I moved out here and da 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 da. And I'm like, oh, she from Detroit, like that's lit. And she started talking about like some projects that she was working on or something like that. So I found her on Instagram, sent her an email and was like, hey girl, I just watched your interview. I think it's super dope that you working on, like I mentioned the project that she said she was working on, because it did sound like a dope project. So I mentioned the project. I'm like, I think it's super dope that you're working on this and this project. I'm actually from Detroit too. I'm about to move out there. Like, you know, I'm looking for people that's, you know, like-minded fashion people that I can rub shoulders with. We should link up for coffee or something like that. Just real casual, like let's just link up for coffee. She wrote me back the next day and was like, hey, oh my gosh, that's so great. Yes, we could definitely link up for coffee, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went back out to Cali to visit again before I moved. I actually linked up with her for coffee. Her name is Chelsea. And when I tell you we just clicked, it was just a natural, organic, just vibe when we was having coffee. And she was just like, well, if you ever want to come help me on the show, like, you know, you're more than welcome. Like, please, you know, come help me. And I was like, dang, for real? She was like, yeah, I mean, there's no budget right now for assistance, but, you know, you'll get the experience and you could definitely just, you know, at least just be on set. And I'm like, oh my God, like, yes, I will come help you. That was like, oh shoot, this is an opening door. Like, that's what it felt like. And I don't care if I'm getting paid. Like, what? I get to work on one of the shows that I've been watching for the past year. Like, I don't care. I'll come through, pull up, whatever. Fast forward, I actually moved to LA and she kept her word. I literally came on set and I just did all the little errands and stuff, because I was basically like her assistant. So she's Jeannie's stylist at the time and I was assisting her. So I would like go take clothes to the dry cleaners. I would go pick up clothes from showrooms. I would, you know, go to like a shoe store and send her pictures of different shoes that they had, and like I would just do stuff like that. But I was just so honored to even be in the room. But I didn't get paid. I probably got like $30-40 a day just for gas and food, because I told her, like, as long as you can take care of like my gas and maybe like my lunch for the day, then I'll do it. I'll help you, whatever. I did that for pretty much the entire season. So I would say about 7 months, 6-7 months, something like that. And then I needed money, so I started working at this warehouse, which that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. I'm working at this warehouse. I have this realization that, like, oh my God, I know how to sew. Like, I could sew for somebody. I'm sure somebody needs a seamstress. So I started just looking up seamstress jobs in LA. Found this company, the company that I actually work at now. But I found this company, TLZ La Femme, that was looking for a seamstress. So I started working for her, sewing up all her orders. So Tuesday through Saturday, I was working for TLZ La Femme, sewing up all the orders on the site. And then on every Monday, I would go to the Real and I would do my intern thing. So I had a cool little schedule going on, but don't get me wrong, like, it was just a lot of work. Every Monday, I'm basically working for $40. And I would pretty much work from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I knew that I was building something, but I didn't know what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you know, you getting somewhere and you know you making progress, but like, I really didn't have clarity on exactly where I was headed. I just knew that this is the lane I was supposed to be in. This is the experience I'm supposed to be getting, and I need to just be grateful that I'm in the room and soak up as much as possible. Like, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Like, that was the mindset. I really didn't, my life was moving so fast that like I didn't have time to think and stop and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this for a year and then I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna, like, I wasn't there at that time. I think I might have been like 22, 23. Like, I just wasn't there. I'm acting like it was a long time ago. This was just like 4 years ago. I did that for a cool little minute. And finally, one day I was in the wardrobe room, and y'all probably heard this story before if you, you know, follow me and stuff like that. But I was in the wardrobe room one day at the Real, and Chelsea was like, do you want to work on American Idol? I was like, yes. And she was just like, well, I'm gonna connect you with the girl, and you know, I'm gonna let you guys talk. And she was just like, it is paid. The season lasts for maybe 4 months, and you'll basically be working in the wardrobe room. And I was just like, oh my God, like this is the opportunity that I've been waiting on. So I realized once I talked to the lady that was over the wardrobe department at American Idol, I realized that I had proven myself so much with working in the wardrobe department at the Real with Chelsea that she could vouch for me. As long as I got my little $30-$40 for gas and to eat, like, I really didn't complain. I played my role and I stayed in my lane and I did what I was supposed to do. If you in fashion, music, any of that stuff, and any of those industries, you gotta know that, like, if you working with somebody, they gonna talk to the next person about how you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was lazy or you slacked or you complained a lot or you was on like BS, that's gonna get around. So I feel like Chelsea, she knew she could count on me, she could depend on me. I was there on time when I said I was gonna be there every time, like it. So she was able to vouch for me, and I think that that's why she told me about American Idol. You have to be willing to make them genuine connections with people. When I first connected with her, when I first connected with Chelsea, honestly, I was not expecting for her to tell me to come on the show. Like, I just wasn't. I was hoping that something would come from the relationship, but I wasn't expecting that it would. I hope that makes sense. So I just genuinely wanted to connect with just real fashion people, like, and just really get the ins and outs of the industry. Having goals was such a big part of it, because as I worked in it and as I did it, like in the beginning I didn't have clarity, but the more I worked and the more I moved and just stayed in my lane and did what I was supposed to do, the more God started to reveal to me, and the more clear it became over time. It didn't all become clear to me what my ultimate goal was at first, but I just kept going. I kept pushing. I kept giving it my all. Like, that's one thing I'll say is I gave it my all. Like, even though I was just an intern and I wasn't getting paid, like, I didn't treat it like I wasn't getting paid. You feel me? Like, I literally gave it my all. So I think that's important, just giving it my all and just staying dedicated to the mission and the purpose that I was, and you know, the purpose that I was serving. And I wanted it so bad, and that's usually the case, right? Is you want it so bad that you willing to do whatever you gotta do, like, as long as it don't compromise my morals, my values, my integrity, stuff like that, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get to where I'm going. So that was a huge part of all of this, to be honest with you. And people can see that, you know what I'm saying? We get mistaken in thinking like, oh, they so busy, they so, you know, they got this and this and that going on, they not paying attention. No, they paying attention. They paying attention. They know. People can feel when you're not genuine. They can feel when you just want to use them to create a moment for yourself and create an opportunity for yourself, and you're not really like just pure-hearted and genuine and just really want to like be a part of what's happening in a good way. You just want to have something to brag about, or just say you know what I'm saying, all of that type of stuff. They can feel that. They know that. They can feel that. Like, they know the difference, you know? I think that's the biggest mistake people make, is they walk into these situations and they think people think they gotta like push their way through the door, and that's just not how it works. You literally have to be genuine and build relationships. And if you do meet somebody that you feel like could change the trajectory of your career, like, play it cool, please. I mean, if you feel the impression to ask for an opportunity, you know, don't ignore that. But at the same time, it's just like, you don't want to push yourself on nobody, because that's not the way. I would say have a skill. You know, like if you in music, I feel like if you do one thing, you should be working on another thing. And that's one thing that I've heard CEOs talk about, is like, you're valuable and you're an asset if you know how to do more than one thing. When you have a skill that nobody can take from you, that is valuable. And I feel like that's what sewing was for me. It was that skill. Like, I was in the door with the entertainment TV side of things, but as far as like the clothing line side of things, I knew how to sew. So I was an asset. So now I can be in the room and I can learn what I need to learn, and I could, you know, soak in what I need to soak in, but I'm also adding value on my side because I know how to sew. So, you know, take some classes, offer some value to these people.
Just wanna feel you. I want you around.
So some stuff I did have to just finish off camera, because if I was doing all of this on camera, the video would be way too long. But I got these press-ons and I'm just about to put them on and finish out the video. I wanted to add to what I was saying earlier about sharpening your skills and just like constantly working on yourself and like working on your craft of whatever you doing, whatever lane you in. It's because it came a point in time for me where American Idol was over. I wasn't working for the clothing line no more. The season wasn't in, and I basically had to go back and get a regular job because like all the doors that was open had basically closed. I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of discouraging because I'm just like, damn, I done been on top of the world, had the job of a lifetime, and now I gotta go back and work a regular, you know, 9 to 5. And that was a very humbling experience for me in itself. But while I was working that 9 to 5 job, like, I never stopped. I mean, I might have took a break, I ain't gonna lie, but I never like just quit working on my craft. Like, I always was like, okay, well, let me just go in here and sew some clothes and just keep using the gift and keep using that skill. And fast forward, I moved to Texas, started working at the bank. Even working at the bank, I still didn't quit. I'm making YouTube videos, you know, I'm doing Fashion Friday. On top of that, I was taking like business classes and stuff like that so I could use them and apply them for Boss Mentality. And then what do you know, that door for me to come back into that fashion world opened right back up, and I really wasn't even chasing it. If you working on it and you already running in that lane and you called to be in that lane, like, it's gonna come. Your time is gonna come. That opportunity is gonna come. But for me, it was just a matter of like just being ready for it. So I just wanted to make sure I add that, like, even if you don't got an opportunity, you need to be ready if it ever presents itself. And you want to know another thing? While we here on this block, let me just pull up on this topic real quick. God has allowed me to experience this level of just success and connections with the fashion industry, within the fashion and TV and industry. I feel like people that's from where I'm from, and I don't give this too much energy, but this is just something that I've noticed that I just want to speak on for a second. People that's from where I'm from, or that I grew up with or whatever, like, they hit me with the, sometimes people hit me with the like, oh, you Hollywood now, like, I seen you out there, you doing this and doing that, like, oh, you Hollywood. And it's just like, don't do that. Don't be that person. because that really make me feel some type of way. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, because it's just like, you have no idea how hard I've worked and how long it's taken me to get to this point and what I had to do to get here. Like, you never know what somebody had to do to get to where they at, you feel me? So it's just like, don't do that. Don't be that person, you know what I'm saying? Because that's not cool. And at the same time, what y'all gotta know is, just the same way I'm gonna, you know, tell you about these blessings and all of that, it's the same way, just like this video, I'm gonna tell you how I did it, so that if you want to do it, you can do it too, you feel me? Like, I'm not doing nothing that the next person can't do. I'm just a girl from Detroit, Romulus, Huntsville, that just made a decision that I wanted more out of life, and then I started going after what was in my heart for me to do. So it's just like, don't ever see me and think that I'm just this larger than life person, or I'm anything different than anybody else just because I went after it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got something that they good at or that they gifted at, and if you wanted to, you could really take it all the way to the top. But if you decide not to, that's your choice. Don't make me feel ostracized or isolated just because I decided to go after my dreams and my gifts. That's not right. That's not cool, and I just don't like when people do that to me. So I just had to make sure I put that in there. Yeah, I'm on this journey to go after my dreams and to follow what I'm called to do. So, you know, just know that, but show that. All right, y'all, so that is it. That was this get ready with me video. Hopefully I didn't talk y'all's head off, because y'all know I be talking a lot, but hopefully it was helpful to whoever listened to the whole thing, because that's just really my story and I just be sharing it, you know? So if you love this video, go ahead and like it for me. It definitely helps my channel when y'all do that. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, but you watching this video, like, what are you doing? Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
Just wanna feel you, feel you. I want you around.